Guys, hello and welcome to Game 4 in the Acer Teamstory Cup 2013 Qualifiers European Edition. Here we are, Rifkin and Baldy casting for you the mYi versus Meet Your Makers matchup. Baldy, take it away.
In the bottom right-hand corner of Ohana, we have our blue Terran from mYi on 3 kills so far. Can he make it 4? It is a Tarson.
And his opponent in the top left, playing Zerg. Spotty red, it is Ares.
I guess Tarson actually has killed one of every race now.
Actually, yeah, good point. Because there was it started with Dragon with the Terran, then Zerg, and then Protoss. So yeah, they've thrown everything they can at Tarson, and he shut it down so far. But Tarson, oh Baldy, he's coming up with something cheeky. I feel as there's an early SCV leaving the base.
What's going on here?
There's no gas though, so typically you'd see like an 8 build for a Reaper proxy, but this will either be a classic 11-11 or some sort of modified Reaper. And Ares, oh man.
Classic chat, are you cheese? It's like the chat cheese.
Well, it's not even Tarson cheese, they're chatting though, it's Ares just fanboying over Tarson, and that will be his greatest downfall.
Oh, there you go, the first proxy goes down. But you have the gas now being taken behind that, so.
Yeah, this is like an economical Reaper opening, I kind of feel. I mean, there's no reason to do a Marauder proxy versus Zerg. Who does that?
Next level, man.
Perhaps, but
you want to kill the hatchery quicker.
Yeah, well, this is almost certainly Reapers on account of the fact that it's only one barracks coming down, and this is kind of nice because the way Tarson's done this, a lot of people go with the 8 supply depot, rush across the field, proxy, get the gas down, and it really hurts your economy, and it relies on you to do a ton of damage. But the way Tarson's opened, the only thing he's done here is leave a hole at the top of his ramp. That's it. Economically, he's still alright. He's on track. He didn't have to cut really workers. He's a little bit behind, but that's about it. That's from the refinery, though. Who cares?
Yeah, it's a really good point there. We'll see how much damage you can do and how many Reapers he makes here. The Overlord looks like it might be on track to spot it, perhaps.
No, it's going to just barely miss that, even if it continues its path. But my question is, will there be a bunker? Yes, there will be. And unfortunately, that's not going to get scouted either. But the returning drone scout knows something's up because the SCV did not appear in the main.
Yeah, and there we go. He does actually scout the barracks, the proxy barracks. Sees the Reaper come out just now, so he knows what's up.
I like this choice by Tarson too, evacuating the bunker for the time being. He knows he can't really hold this without that Reaper support, but here we go. 3 drones trying to take out this bunker, but Tarson... Oh, actually, Spycrawl coming down, a very nice response, but unfortunately the bunker will be up pretty early. Another Spycrawl coming down, he's just trying to save drones at this point. Not a bad choice. We have Ares pulling his mineral line, actually trying to deal with this.
Well, I think it might actually finish, but it's not going to matter. Oh, actually, no, he will be able to get in there.
It's going to get salvaged.
Maybe not. Alright, there you go.
Yeah, every time someone salvages the bunker, I always think back to what was it, like the early state of the game where In Control is talking about how broken bunker salvages because they're changing it from 100% to 75%. Like,
yeah.
I kind of feel like they're, with no use coming out of that bunker, I
remember you used to troll that you could do like bunker banks and just like you'd build one and then give it south for like 125 and
it would appreciate in value, I think was one of the remarks they made or something like that.
Well, we got some nice micro from these Reapers. Do remember, guys, that they do have the regeneration on them, so not too concerned about taking some damage.
Yeah, they gotta be careful going up the high ground like that. Tarson, oh my god, barely retaining that Reaper. Holy moly. Now, of course, there's a Queen here, but it's not being too active.
Does lose one.
Normally
now behind this, we have the expansion from Tarson and a factory, so he's not committing too much to this.
I have to criticize Ares here. Like, this Queen could have been moved southern to prevent the Reapers from jumping down, but unabated, they're just kind of taking out a lot of damage and keeping Ares busy. 4 workers have been killed at this point for the cost of only a Reaper, not to mention a ton of Zerglings.
Yeah, you look at that units lost, it really puts how well Tarson's been controlling these units.
Well, Ares, I mean, he's starting to recover from this. Speed's on the way. Speed's definitely the best way to shut Reapers down, because you can't kite Zerglings anymore. But until then, 3 Reapers.
Still going with Reapers. I just want to say that he's building another one still.
And he's doing a ton of damage with the 3 that he has. He can even kill this Queen if microed correctly. Get in, get out, wait for the heal, come back and finish it. But he's on a clock now. He's waiting for that. As soon as either the Roach Warren finishes or the Speed. I mean, whether it's Roaches or Speed, once one of those 2 things are on the field, these Reapers are just kind of done for.
Yeah. And actually a double expand now coming back from Tarson, so He's feeling like, and appropriately so, like he's done a lot of damage. He knows that Ares will not be able to attack aggressively, or rather, if he does, it's going to be fairly weak given the amount of Lings he's killed. Also knows that therefore there's less economy. So I think this is a really good decision from Tarson to double expand behind this, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps relatively defense like eccentric from now on.
Baldy, he's going flipping blue flame behind this too, no less. I love this because you know what, the Reapers, yeah, they're gonna get shut down, but while they have the Roaches chasing them around the field, the Hellions are gonna come in and clean up the worker line, I feel.
Yeah, that could do a lot of damage.
I mean, the thing is too, was it, I think the math on it's like 2 blue flame Hellions with +1 weapons will one-shot a drone. So I mean, even if he's only got a small amount in the field, without +1, that blue flame makes him do so much damage.
Yeah.
But oh man, Tarson taking an engage around the watchtower. Gotta be careful with that Hellion, he needs to keep it alive. Oh, it does go down, sadly.
Actually, yeah, these Reapers are in a little bit of trouble. They want to try and hug behind that, perhaps. Oh no, they're going to get surrounded.
Yeah, he's trying to avoid that surround, but he's got to get up on the high ground if he wants to retain any of these Reapers. But losing that Hellion, I feel, hurt really bad. Because without that reactor, I mean, now he's got the reactor, but without it, he could have been in his opponent's mineral lines by now.
Alas, them's the breaks, as they say.
Yeah, well, checking the worker count at this point, I mean, Tarson's a little bit behind, but that's okay, because he's got 3 mules coming down per round.
Yeah. He also just got the 3rd and 4th gas, so he's going to be able to pump out a lot of tech. We do have the... What is he building now? Another factory, so it looks like he's going to go into mech play behind this, which is... It makes sense after getting blue flame.
But he's got to be careful with these Roaches, because Hellions, while nice, they still don't trade too well with Roaches.
Yeah, nothing he really has at the moment can deal with them, well,
One of mine's are about to pop out solo tanks. So
yeah,
I mean,
he should be fine.
Tarson, yeah, evacuating the base even. He's not going to really suffer any losses here. Just going to lift up the command center, and that's about it. Bob's your uncle, and what have you.
Bob's your uncle, etc.
Yeah, forget the sayings. Who cares? Colloquial terms are for cool kids.
All right.
But okay, teching out Ares, I mean, okay, he took a lot of harass early, but, I mean, he's recovered from it. He's got his gases up, he's got workers going. My question is he going to stick with his Roach tech? Because right now, it feels like a lot of players are really favoring the Mutiling Bane style. It's really strong and effective versus a Terran player, but if Tarson goes back, that won't work out so good for him.
Yeah, I know you said in the like in previous games how siege tanks still like get siege tech by just building. Like it still is surprising to me. I remember like almost every time I build a siege tech, I'm like, oh damn, I already have siege tech. Like,
well, did you see Blizzard's reasoning for why that happened?
I don't remember. I know
they did. Well, no, they did this Twitter thing, right? Project Blackstone. I don't know if you heard anything about this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, the viral marketing campaign. Well, anyways, for those who don't know, they basically had like the head of the siege tanks contact like the head of the Terran. They're like, "Hey, look, so you know, in the siege tank we've got a bathroom, but we're all fitted with diapers, so we don't really need a bathroom. Why don't we just put something useful there, like siege tech?" And that was it. That was the whole story.
It's like a little box that allows them to like do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny. Like the conversation was actually kind of graphic because they started talking about like the details of the diapers that the Marines wear type thing inside the tanks. But no, I just thought it was hilarious. Blizzard was actually kind of playful with their change. It wasn't just a change. But yeah, Tarson is losing a ton of Hellions right now, Baldy.
Yeah, it's throughout all of this conversation, they're kind of getting taken out left, right, and center. He has been very active with them, which is good from Tarson's point of view, getting some nice scouting information. We look at his vision. He does know the 3rd is on the way. But he needs to be careful not to sacrifice too many of them because they are kind of like his main beefy units. Like you can transform them into Hellbats. He needs them
for the Hellbats, yeah.
Yeah.
Hellbats, of course, they trade very nicely with Roaches, especially once they get up at Arsenal, not to mention having a ton of Widow Mines on the field like this. Now, he does not have Tunneling Claws yet. He's actually not even researching it, interestingly enough. Tunneling Claws, though, of course, for those who don't know, make Widow Mines burrow damn near instantly. And it makes them go from being very defensive units into incredibly offensive units. There's no better feeling, Baldy, and I think you know this off firsthand, than moving like 10 Widow Mines underneath your opponent's army, burrowing them, and watching things die.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny. If you go on Map Control's YouTube, there's a video that we posted up from a 2v2 where it kind of shows how
I want to point out Tarson taking a note from Dragon in Game 1, using his barracks to scout. Will he also
Yeah.
go for some
Well,
proxy marines out of desperation?
Yeah, for a factory, like for a mech play, it definitely makes sense because you're not using the barracks. But it still is funny looking at a barracks. It's something that I feel is kind of underappreciated. It's 150 minerals, and often like versus Zerg for a while there, you can actually get a decent amount of scouting with just a barracks because Queen's the only thing that can really deal with them. So.
Well, you consider it does the same job as an Overlord for a slight fraction of an extra cost, but it's got like 5 times the health pool of an Overlord.
You know what's funny? The barracks actually move faster than an Overlord and how much bigger they are.
Well, they got jets, man. Look at those flames coming out of the back and everything.
Yeah.
What do Overlords have? They like fart to move. I mean, really, what?
It's...
Sound contest, guys. But okay, let's look at the actual unit composition here for both players. I mean, Tarson's got a lot of tanks and a lot of Thors, but I don't know, Ares, he's got a really nice, scary composition of Roach Hydra. Hydra, of course, does a ton of damage to pretty much everything in existence. Their only drawback is that they're very squishy. So if these Roaches can take most of that tank fire, they're going to melt through the Hellions and then move forward very quickly with those muscular augments to finish off the tanks.
Yeah, that did just finish up. So Hydra's been pretty good off creep now. And like this is what I'm showing. Like this barracks from Tarson actually scouting everything ever.
And it's still not even on fire yet. Just about there.
There we go. They're pretty beefy.
Now, why does it? You know, there's the whole thing about like you put flames on a car to make it look like it's going faster. Why does that not work with the barracks? Because currently it's actually on fire, but it doesn't look like it's moving any faster.
Oh, looks like we might be able to engage it relatively soon. We do have areas now moving across the map.
Oh, but look at these Widow
all of his
Mines.
Hydras at the front though, so he needs to be careful.
And losing the Overseer there, I mean that's gonna cost him, but it's 4 more Widow Mines, 5 more Widow Mines over top of the army. But Ares with some really nice Overseers should be able to catch most of them, but no, actually, they get a ton of damage off. Will it be enough though?
It's like he will repel him initially. Barracks now coming in to Tarson. Just before it dies, does see that there is the 4th expansion, which is very important for him to note.
You remember how we were discussing about how barracks should be able to land and do damage while landing?
Yeah.
They should absolutely do damage while crashing into this mineral line, I feel, on the 4th base.
Or when they're on fire, they do like slow AoE damage because of the heat.
It's like just a mini ball of sun.
But yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
Alright, well, Hellions are actually going to get up here. Those blue flames going to play very nicely. Not to mention that blue flame is going to have huge effect on these Hydralisks for the big battle, but unfortunately, you know, the Hellbats don't.
Oh, the mine
bonus
softens up some of the roaches there. Now with the siege
nice
tanks
spread
coming through, this is going to be absolutely chaotic.
Look at that spread, though. Ares getting in from every side. Tarson losing everything at this point. Tanks are really nice, but not so much against Hydralisks.
Wow, these Hydralisks actually showing their worth there. Look for a little bit there that the positioning from Tarson perhaps is going to be. Oh, I just got demolished.
Yeah.
I don't even care what I'm saying, but
you're just like, oh, Widow Mine went off. Cool. Forget everything I knew about anything. I would love to see like
overextension there, perhaps, but
I would love to see like a tank and a Widow Mine kill something at the same time and watch it go flying like 40 yards to the left or something. But okay, I gotta point out, Tarson's got a massive mineral bank, and what I feel is not enough Hellions or Hellbats on the field currently. I mean, he's going with Widow Mine production, which I don't disagree with, but the reality is when you know your opponent's got this many Hydralisks on the field, Hellions with that blue flame are a little bit better than Hellbats.
yeah, he doesn't have the gas available to build those more beefy units, so really, I guess, like you said, the only real thing he can do right now is build those Hellions or expand behind it. He's getting another CC, but now pumping into those 4 Hellions, so this is what we like to see.
Yeah, and again, like I'm just shunning this bank of Tarson. I know that he's not intending to have a 3k bank floating with him, but this is one of the drawbacks to play Met, because again, it's all about the gas, not about the minerals. Everything's pretty low mineral cost.
Yeah, he's also on 3 base as well in terms of Tarson, so that's something to consider as Ares has been on 4 base, now establishing his 5th for quite some time.
Yeah, the creep spread though out of Ares, I have to say, is a little lackluster to say the most, as Tarson hasn't actively been killing these creep tumors. They're just not really being spread very effectively by Ares. Yeah. Now, of course, that's not to say Ares is like, oh my god, a bad player for not spreading creep, but typically you'd see a Zerg player up on Tarson's base with creep at this point because of the amount of control that Ares has seized throughout the mid portion of this game.
Well, looks like it's a little bit of a standoff here. Tarson playing defensively, trying to look to expand to this 4th location, but he will need to position his siege tanks if he want to successfully save that.
And unfortunately, the Widow Mines do go down, but yeah, Ares zoning Tarson out of this extra base. I mean, I don't know how much longer this game is going to go on for, but if it's much longer, Tarson's going to start looking to be in some trouble as his main is completely mined out pretty much. His natural's getting there. And you don't want to be on one base economy versus Zerg ever.
Yeah, another thing to note as well is 3-3 for Zerg for Ares is about to complete, or is 3/4 or more complete, while we only have 2-0
nice
for the mech.
Yeah, we'll chase Ares off and allow Tarson to start securing this base, but will it be enough, Baldy? Tanks are no longer sieging, these roaches are pushing in.
There's going to be a lot of damage right here, but equally, there's a sick bank for Ares. We see him just making 19 more roaches, 19 more, 27 now hydras.
What
so he can just re-max on this. This is kind of ridiculous.
And as we saw earlier, tanks are not very good at dealing with those hydralisks. The light, it's so silly because I remember Brood War tanks destroying everything, right? Like they didn't care about anything, but with the whole light armor thing on hydralisks, they can actually take a bit of heat from these siege tanks.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I do want to point out though is we do have the Ultralisk Cavern complete. There's no tech for it though, so I don't think he'll be producing some anytime soon. But man, whether you got tanks, whether you got Battle Hellions, unless you got a ton of Thors, there's nothing that stands up to Ultralisks.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to get caught out here the first few tanks.
Yeah, tanks not sieged very well. Roach is getting a nice concave on them as well. Widowmine's going down. Hellions are just nowhere to be found, and the Vikings are just gone now too. Tarson is trying to hold with a meager force. And I mean, Tarson's known for holding, but Baldy, I don't think he's going to hold this.
Yeah, look at that supply, 114 to 200. There still is a nice bank for Ares, so he can max out again if he needs to. 20 more roaches, 22 more roaches on the way. And I think Tarson's reign is about to be over. GG.
Yeah,
and,
not quite full enough an all
kill.
kill. Yeah, not quite full enough an all kill, but dude, I want to point this out. Baldy, come to the third base. How many freaking SCVs is he? This is like a bee's nest of units.
There's 28 SCVs there.
All right, guys, stay tuned for the next game.